Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul a'udhu birabbil falaq min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasikin idha waqab wa min sharri nafathati fil uqad wa min sharri hasidin idha hasad. Say, I seek refuge with the Lord of the dawn from the mischief of creating things, from the mischief of darkness as it overspreads, from the mischief of those who practice secret arts, and from the mischief of the envious one as he practices envy. Earlier this week we did a program on Hasad, envy. And this ayat says, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. That means that we're seeking refuge from the mischief of the envious one when he practices envy. We know envy is a very deadly disease, and we dealt with it the other day, so I got a little feedback as usual, so I want to deal with it a little different perspective tonight. First of all, as we said before, that this is a hadith, O son of Imran, never be envious of people concerning the favors I have conferred on them by my grace. Do not glower at them and do not succumb to your envious self. Indeed, the envious man is indigent at the bestowal of my favors, and contest my appropriating of the gifts among my creatures. Whoso is such, he neither belongs to me, nor does he belong to him. So, this is Hadith Qudsi, and this is where it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking. O son of Imran, and you know, this is Musa alayhi salam. Never be envious of people concerning the favors I have conferred on them by my grace. In other words, never be envious of anybody, because, as the hadith says, envy consumes meritorious behavior and good behavior, just like fire consumes wood. So if a person is envious, they lose the whole show. They lose in this world, because here it says that they are indigent. That means if they have $1 billion, they're poor. They feel poor because the guy next door have $2 billion or $2 million. So he feels indigent. It don't make, and not only feels poor, but that person feels angry at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because why you give him such and such, and I don't have that, So he feels uncomfortable with what Allah has given him. Don't glower at people. In other words, don't be mean some of the people I've had contact with recently, one of the main reasons that I'm giving this subject on envy is because originally the other night, our goal was to smooth the way out and try to gently return everyone to a workable situation. And we wanted to try to explain to those people who are amongst us what their behavior looks like. Their behavior has a certain background to it. It has certain connections with internal and external attitudes. So don't succumb to your envious self. This is part of the Jihad al-Nas or Tazkiyah bil-Nas. Purification of self. Tazkiyah from zakah, increase, growth, and purification. All of those. Tazkiyah, because if you give your money away, it purifies it. Right? Tazkiyah. Zakah, that's what it purifies it. Indeed, the envious man is indigent at the bestowal of my favors and contests my appropriation of his gifts amongst his creatures. Such neither belongs to Allah, nor does he belong to others. Now, I'd like to give the definition of Hasad. Hasad is a psychic state in which a person wishes for the deprivation of a blessing, talent, or merit, real or imagined, possessed by another person. It does not make any difference to the envious man whether he possesses it or not, or whether he can acquire it or not. The term imagined is used here for the reason that it is not necessary that there should be any real merits or advantages in the true sense of the word. For it has been established by observation that things which are vices and defects on account of their being considered by the envious as excellent merits. Why? We talked about it the other night. Brutality, meanness, and that killer instinct, what they had. Many people are amazed at it. They respect it, that killer instinct. Of course, I wrote in mine, I might have showed it to y'all before. I don't have the killer instinct. And I also wrote in my book, kindness is not a weakness, it's a strength. I also wrote in my book that if it's up to me, I want to turn snitches, stooges, collaborators, and other people into revolutionaries, into enhancers of peace and tranquility, and that they spread peace and pleasure throughout the land. So, it goes on to say, about attached certain qualities. He sees them as merits on account of their animal state and desires that the other man should be deprived of them. For instance, there are certain persons who consider ruthlessness and brutality as virtues. Most of the people that we've been involved with, you would have to say that they're ruthless. Our people, look, this is 1997. I don't know if you remember that. Tactics deployed against the Islamic movement. A section of the people of the book say, believe in the morning in what was revealed to the believers, but rejected at the end of the day. Perchance they made themselves turn back. This is old as history for movements and organizations. So the Yahud is told to join the believers in the morning. This is not one morning, but at a certain time. Join in, and everybody's going to say, well, the Jews, they know what's going on. So they join up. Now, technically, remember, Yahud is the one that was telling all the Arabs in Medina that, hey, you guys got a prophet coming, coming from the seed of Ismail and on and on and on and on, and you guys, that's who you guys are, they went to Mecca, because they heard in Medina from the Arabs, from the Jews, about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they went and they questioned him and they said, this is him. He got all the qualities that they mentioned. I don't want to go into it, but then why didn't the Yahud accept Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It was uj, kibr, arrogance. That type of thing. We'll get into that next go round. But here, this is a tactic and it's a strategy deployed against the Islamic movement. Join the Muslims in the morning, but leave in the evening. Perchance, as you're leaving, you will ensnare some of the innocent, not knowing people. Now remember, all of the Muslims that came here, all the people that was up to something, they treated me one way, but they had dinner and everything with each other, with all the people. They had dinner with each other, and they took them out, so to them, that is the innocent people that came here, these guys were friendly and Islamic. Oh, they was good brothers. So that when they leave and they point the finger at me, they would all say, "Mean old Imam Musa, the dictator at Masjid al-Islam." They have come up with 50,000 names. At one time, they was referring to me as a dictator. A dictator. Shoot, one of the brothers wanted to teach a class here, and he said, one of the well-known brothers, he was over at the Islamic Center years before, and he had a kifaya on, and he was a petty imam, right? He lived right around the corner. So anyway, he said, yeah, I'd like to help him teach a fiqh class. He was always reading Arabic and stuff. And then he happened to mention about shortening of prayers. So he said, yeah, you can shorten Maghrib prayer. I said, what? I was looking all around. I said, Maghrib prayer. So right away I said, well, we can't have him teaching no class, not right now, until he get a clear understanding. Sure, you can shorten and combine, do it. And I said, no problem at all. And you can combine, when you're traveling, Maghrib and Isha, but you can't you can shorten Isha, but you cannot shorten what? You're going to have a rakat and 3/4 or 1.5 rakats. Anyway, so they was calling me a dictator. Skil and that crew, they come in with a big ledger. You know those big green old-time ledgers? Mm-hmm. They came in with a big ledger, and they said, well, now remember, their whole crew was there. I'm by myself. When they would invade our masjid, I would be there by myself. So they all in it together. Askia them is there, the whole crew. So they said, well, what we'll do is we'll count the money during Jummah out of the box, and we'll write it down, and then we'll give you the money. I said, first of all, it ain't enough. I said, I have a book right here. Just like all this, whatever we collect, I'm going to remember it and I'm going to write it down. I got stuff written down from Jump Street, And so I was saying, hey man, we ain't going to do nothing like that. It ain't even enough money. I said, that which the kids don't steal, because the box is right there on the floor. You know what I mean? Remember when you go downstairs? And the youth, a lot of the youth was coming to this, so they was serious about the box. If you turn your head, they be looking all around like ain't nothing happened. And I just said, oh, alhamdulillah, it's okay. May Allah make it halal for it. That's when I remembered that hadith, although it was about shoes, I said the same thing about money. May Allah make it allow for it. So anyway, this talk tonight is on Hasad, related to how this talk right here is related to how people related to the other one we had the other night. So I had to spruce it up a little bit. Tactics deployed against the Islamic movement. Okay, we haven't been playing here at all. That's why this statement here, this is several years old. It's a program in Oakland. Victory of Masjid al-Islam over the combined forces of American Zionism. That's what that is. And we say right away, in spite of Steve Emerson, Sean Hannity, Daniel Pipes, the NSA, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, and any other host of clowns, Masjid al-Islam in East Oakland is the only independent masjid that stands for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against American Zionism. It don't mean that we're the only independent masjid, but we're the only independent masjid in America that stands directly against Zionism and speaks about it. So it says, number one, Imam Musa will inshallah share case study after case study on how to practice psychological guerrilla warfare. In other words, this is years ago, so this is clear that this is a study. Now, we've been studying and implementing for ever since we've been a masjid, but now we're just open about it. That's what we're doing right there. Maybe this is around 2014 or 15. The College of Strategic and Islamic Studies will give hands-on experience on how to make U.S. agents and collaborators expose themselves. The program we're having is laying all of this out. And remember, during those days we had design fitna and psychological guerrilla warfare has worked. And we had all of those things. And to prove it that they didn't like it, when I came back from South Africa, this is the roster of everybody at the Johannesburg Airport. Happened that day. They refused me a flight. It says, what does it say? For custom Marines, do not board customer received by regulatory authority. And it's flight 207 on September 13th. And it's from TAS. And they got that number here, 240 in Baltimore, I'm sure. And then they have my number up here, whatever that number is. I'm assuming this is my number. That whenever my name would come up, that number. Okay, so this has been our relationship with the government all the time. Except last year, the FBI came and they said, well, to make a long story short, you won't have to worry about us anymore. I said, that would be nice. Of course, I didn't believe it till I went to the airport and I just walked on the plane. I said, what? I started to tell the people, which I didn't, of course, hey, man, y'all supposed to hold me up for at least an hour. That's at the front desk. And then another, because I was 2 or 3 hours early, just in case. Like I always am. Because if I would come an hour before the gate closes, okay, there's a 20-minute period before the gate closes that you can still go to the gate. But if I came at that time, an hour before the gate, I wouldn't make it. I'd never make it because it was something, the button they would push, and they said, don't let him just stall it. And they would stall me, whether a national flight, international flight, it wouldn't make no difference. The subject is Hasad, jealousy or envy. Do y'all remember this program, Creating a New Civilization of Islam? Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui? You know, until I was looking on the website, I didn't even know that Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui had said, maybe I went to the restroom, or maybe just the atmosphere of the environment. There's a big hall, several thousand people there. And he said stuff like, Imam Musa is the essence of all that's good. I said, good God Almighty. Right? He said stuff, and he's the head of the Islamic movement for us. This is our teacher right here, Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui. All of our teachers up here. All his writings are all out there in the place. Issues of Islamic movement, and he was writing way before, back in the 70s, you know. And they started the Islamic Institute in 73, after the war with Pakistan and Bangladesh, you know. Anyway, so if people are going to be jealous, Hasad, I don't know where they would start. This is our brothers right here. Brother Musa enjoyed the tapes very much. Please send more. By my mother, your homeboy from the days of struggle. And it's Pete O'Neill. Behind that cashew tree, you can see all the cashews growing on a tree. People think, yeah, they have peanut there. There you go. Okay. So, if somebody was going to be jealous because somebody survived the period of revolution, right? Came through the early days of Islamic movement, or let's say wandered in the wilderness, and helped the people, you know. I don't think there's any African Americans alive that physically help the black movement with money. You know, they wouldn't look them up and say, here's money. They might have ran their mouth or something. But as far as they were talking, and there's two of these brothers left alive here in America, and one woman, but she never remembered me, I don't think. Because I saw Kathleen Cleaver down on the mall at one big program, and she didn't pick it up. I said, okay. But Sekou Dinga and Pete O'Neill, that was the head of security who became, and that was the other, BLA, you know, that type of thing. We played basketball every day together in Algeria for physical fitness. Okay, so now remember, I'm not saying nothing about any of this hardly, except to connect